President Donald Trump on Tuesday floated the idea of canceling future U.S. elections, elevating a long-standing concern among critics of how he might try to limit threats to his power in his second term. Trump brought up the idea while speaking to House Republicans at their annual retreat, and then quickly insisted he was not calling for such a move, casting his remarks as a critique of Democrats rather than a proposal. They have the worst policy, he said in his remarks at the Kennedy Center to about 70 House Republicans. How do we even run against these people? I won't say cancel the election. They should cancel the election because the fake news would say he wants the elections canceled. He's a dictator. They always call me a dictator. From the horse's mouth, J Train, take us through this Times article. What is he saying?
He's going to cancel the election. So,
no nuance at all.
So I know there's going to be a lot of people out there, oh, no, he can't, he won't, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, if you really look at it, the law is flexible. He has the Supreme Court in his back pocket, and he has, until recently, had enough Republicans in his pocket to do things that you wouldn't think he could do, like attacking Venezuela, kidnapping the president, or putting U.S. troops on American soil to curtail issues, or like Epstein documents. Like, there's a lot of stuff we didn't think he could do. And if you go back and look at his standard rhetoric, it is, oh, I could do this if I wanted to, if it were legal. I have people looking into it. And then it's like, I could do this if I wanted to. And then it kind of tests the waters a little bit more to see what resistance he gets. But if you look at that clip I played, once that moment happened, I was like, oh shit, he's going to start trying to normalize it and get people used to the idea. And then he's going to come up with some harebrained thing that gets us out of being able to have the elections. And then lo and behold, we go and capture a president of Venezuela at the beginning of 2026.
Right.
So cancel the elections because of war. Play the clip. Did you see he said, if we, not you guys, not you, if we are in a war, he said the we part. He's thinking about the United States. He said the we part. We happen to be in a war.
No.
What they say here.
There it is. I told you, as soon as that video came out, as soon as that happened, he's got in his head, he's going to start a war in order to get us out. And as soon as he started fucking around with Venezuela, I was like, oh shit, here it is. He found a country that he can go to war with, and they started bombing, and they started doing stuff, and he's threatening them now. Is Venezuela really about oil, or is it really about elections, or is it can he have his cake and eat it too? Is it about the illegal detention camps that are now starting to float around?
Unpopular opinion, I personally believe that all of this, even the attack on Venezuela, is to cover up the Epstein files.
I think he believes that he's untouchable. The Epstein files are just an annoyance in his mind. I don't think he has any fear because, I mean, why would he? He hasn't been held accountable for J6.
For
anything. He wasn't held accountable for the 34 convictions. He hasn't had to pay out on any of his judgments against him for rape and assault. He hasn't had to pay out for like anything.
We still haven't seen his tax returns.
Dropped. His case, his voter fraud case in Georgia got dropped. His other case got dropped. He's getting cases about voter fraud dropped. Like, yeah, I don't know why any would fear. Like, who's going to hold him accountable for this? Supreme Court's giving him basic immunity from everything. Yeah, why would he? But he has said it time and time again. If the Democrats get control, they will impeach him. They've said it. And if people are like, well, what's he done illegal to be impeached? No, go back and look. You do not have to do anything illegal to be impeached. You just have to not be in good faith to the country for enough people in Congress and the Senate to impeach him. And it can happen. Like, technically, what law did Bill Clinton break? He got a blowjob in the office from an assistant. But what law got broken? None. They impeached him anyway. Like, they impeached him for lying to Congress about a blowjob. And we have this guy kidnapping the president of a foreign country that we weren't at war with. So, like, which one's the more egregious to you? But anyway, that clip and that comment are lining up. And I told you guys this is going to happen. He's already telling you he's going to rerun. He's going to be president in 2028. And either they're going to get rid of voting or they're going to steal the vote. That's why mail-in voting is now being threatened. That's why The Republican machine just bought, what was the big voting company? Dominion Voting just got purchased by a company that's owned by ultra MAGA Republicans. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I thought we'd have more time. I was hoping for more opportunities, but I'm starting to wonder, have we lost our ability to vote as United States citizens?
Do you want to make some predictions? Do you think the upcoming midterms will be canceled? I can see the case for sure 100% on the next presidential election should Donald Trump be healthy enough to run. But the way things are looking with that, I don't think he'll be around for that. But I know that he would absolutely cancel the 2028 elections because he's already talked about it.
We have three things that we really have to take into account. One, the midterms are coming up. Even if he can, like, postpone them, which if we look across the country, there's been numerous challenges and postponement or straight up canceling of different elections. Florida and North Carolina are the two that I was thinking about. They just straight up canceled elections. Said, nah, we're not going to do it. We're going to leave the person in place. So it's happened, and a precedent has been set for that. So can Republicans just do shit like this that's illegal? I mean,
who's going to stop them?
Like, where do you draw the line for illegal and actually getting resistance back from it? Because I haven't seen it anywhere on this.
Well, while I have a moment by myself, I do want to say thank you to all the followers on all the social media accounts. It has been growing a lot lately, and you guys have been responding and commenting, and I really, really appreciate it. I pay for everything that I'm doing. This has been completely free. Everything that I produce is completely free and for you.
Boosh. Yeah.
So thank you guys.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah. Okay. So three things you have to consider. One, even if we have a precedent set for canceling the midterms. Like, they've already canceled elections in Florida. They're challenging the cancellation of elections here in North Carolina. I've heard of other places they're trying to cancel elections. And Republicans across the whole state and all these states that they can get control of the election boards and committees and everything are trying to redo how the elections happen. Republican MAGA people have bought Dominion under some umbrella company. So the main voting machines that we use that may or may not have been tampered during the last election. And if I remember correctly, didn't the Smith guy from the FBI,
Jack Smith, we should do an entire episode on him.
Didn't he say something like he is completely confident that Kamala won the 2024 election or something like that? And it was
I don't know about that, but he was very adamant about having plenty of evidence.
Yeah, but there was something about the election, like he was confident that Kamala actually won it, and there was some things that happened. But anyway, so precedent has been set to cancel. If Republicans decide to cancel, maybe they just can if they can have control of it. So who knows? All right, thing number two. I just saw today there was a new death of a GOP Senate person from California, if I remember correctly. And there was another person that just resigned. There's been a lot of turnover of different representatives for one reason or another, either getting convicted, deciding not to run, deciding to resign, death. Like, there's been a high amount of turnover. And those seats are not necessarily going back to GOP as at the levels that they thought. There is a possibility of attrition and replacement flipping the Senate and House. So maybe we don't even need a midterm for that to happen. And along with that, there's a number of Republicans that are starting to think, oh God, I might go down the ship if I don't do something now. So maybe they're going to move over on the other side of the aisle when the impeachment comes up, when the House flips. We're like, oh, the Democrats did it, but then they were on the boat with them too. So who knows? And then the third thing is, like you were saying, like, his health is rough. He's talking about taking and ignoring advice, but taking medication that's not prescribed. And his hand, I don't know if you've seen his hand lately. Like, I saw a picture where the whole part of it was black all the way through here. I've seen doctor after doctor go on and say that, like, he's receiving significant dementia and heart medication because they are confident that his stroke and possible signs of dementia or brain damage from stroke or something.
No. It's excessive handshaking, J-Train.
Yeah.
That is the beginning and end of his medical problem.
I mean, facetious as facetious does. I'm going to listen to the doctors over the Fox News hosts. So
You mean to tell me you don't believe that Donald Trump is the healthiest president that has ever lived? Like all of history. He is a Greek god.
I guess the best way I can say it is he's the healthiest president we currently have in the office.
That's not a dig. That is a compliment.
Well, we only have one, so it's kind of like
out of all the Donald Trumps over 60 years old, he is the healthiest.
So, yeah. Do we lose elections? Are we going to lose elections? Are elections going to be rigged? Are they doing it to where only certain states get to vote? And that's the other thing nobody's really talked about is what happens when they only count votes from red states or red districts or red whatever, and they decide to look at what happened to the judge in North Carolina. Lawsuit for 6 months before the Supreme Court had to get involved and higher level courts got involved and finally overthrew suit after suit after suit, trying to throw out votes, trying to throw out this, trying to show they threw everything they could at that wall. And it took 6 months for that judge to be able to take their seat on the bench. And if you look at what we're going through now, what happens when a Democrat loses but really gets all the votes, but they gerrymander and then they burn the votes or they don't count the votes, like the USPS? Did you see that
Civil war happens at that point?
Did you see about the USPS announcement about certification of arrival? USPS just announced that if you drop off a piece of mail, they will no longer guarantee that it has been marked as received on the day that they receive it. It could be marked as much as a month later.
This is called rigging the vote.
They're going to destroy mail-in votes. And I've heard here in this localized area, they're going to be changing the locations and reducing the number of voting locations in Democratic areas in Georgia, North Carolina, and other places. So, 2 to 3 hour poll times, or maybe you can't even get through your whole poll time. There was a place in, I want to say it was Georgia. They had 8-hour lines to get in to vote. They were down blocks because they removed all the voting places but one in 5 miles or something, or 10 miles. And people were lined up all the way down, had waited in line all day to vote. That happens in the blue areas across the whole country, and only a third of Democrats can go vote. You are full McDonald's right now. Yeah, we don't have, in my mind, we will not have a secure, fair, balanced election until sweeping changes from a Democratic leadership come in and are able to put into place fair voting across the country.
I'll be retired. Actually, I don't think I'll see that in my lifetime. After this shakeup that the Trump administration is doing right now to our country, our systems, to everything, all the chaos that he's causing within our systems is going to take decades to repair. All of our relationships with all, the countries around the world that we have now ruined are going to take years to repair.
More likely we'll scrap and have to start over after a civil war at this rate. So here's the thing though, as much as I'm dire on how likely it is for us to vote again, what happens when all these things I talk about happen? They cancel voting in certain areas. They reduce voting capabilities in areas. Votes don't get counted in areas, and it's a landslide in a Republican favor when the actual votes and the censuses all show completely the other way. But then it comes out that they decided to close this. Just think about what happened in the last 2 elections. How many bomb threats came into Democratic areas during the presidential election and the last local election?
Right.
Enough to shut down polling places in numerous Democratic-led, Democratic majority areas and lost votes. So what happens when they do it everywhere in Democratic areas and they only have one polling place and the 50,000 people need to go vote in that district have one polling place and they can't get through because it's shut down for a bomb threat? That's 50,000 votes gone. Now, what happens if they do that 100 times across the country? 500,000 votes gone. Is that enough to sway an election? Yes.
Yeah. This is going to get crazy.
And how are you going to take it? How are you going to do when you can't go vote in state after state after state?
That will radicalize
when
the
it's
left.
A 98% Republican win. It's a landslide. 98% of the votes registered and counted are Republican, when you know that's not the voting regulation or voting registration volumes.
Yeah. That's going to destabilize our country from within.
Oh, it's
on a macro level, like in our streets and in our cities, because there's going to be most of the population is going to be Democratic and their vote's not going to be counted. That's going to radicalize more people than anything.
And if you look at what's happening out there, canceling elections, deregistering people that are voting, removing voter locations, no same-day registrations, voter IDs that had to go through special channels. I just read something, what was it, last 2 days, that California has gotten their Real ID decertified for some shenanigans and will not be able to be used for a variety of different things because it's not approved by federal, even though it's federally background checked. Like they're removing the ability to verify who you are. I mean, we're headed towards maybe California doesn't get to vote because they make a change in policy on verification going out the door. Why do you think Donald Trump's trying and the party is trying to push for all these new vote capability changes? Like, what is it allowed to vote? Universal voting ID. Going through the new department that we haven't set up. Like, what happens if February they say, well, we're going to make sweeping changes to any federal. You have to have a federalized approved ID. It requires all this paperwork. There's a 6-month backlog, and that's if we can get to it. But somehow only Republican IDs get printed for the next 5 years because they're backlogged because dirty Democrats are doing bad things with it, and no Democrat can vote in the next election. Like I can think of a dozen different strategies they're using right now trying to prevent Democrats from voting ever again. And if you go into it, was it Mike Johnson and Stephen Miller and all those have gone on record on video saying women should not be allowed to vote. Black people should not be allowed to vote. Like the rhetoric's out there, guys. You got to pay attention.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, Jay Train? Or we're going to leave it there.
I hate it.
Well, I am fascinated to see the comments from MAGA about canceling elections. They're probably for it. I don't know. Prove me wrong. But until next time, I am Chris McIntyre, and that is Jay Train McDougals. And I have a great idea for the next one. I'm not going to tease it right here. Peace.